Act seeks to address the challenges faced and move this country into a new road culture. Heightened awareness is already having a positive impact on driver behavior. Crash report for January of this year shows a 44% reduction in road deaths compared to the same period last year.
Hi there and welcome to another Wednesday edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. We have a lot lined up for you in this package right after this break. Stay with us.
Looking for that next science project, one that will make a lasting impact, and one that's also economically beneficial? Look no further than the National School Tree Planting Competition. We're calling on all schools from early childhood right up to the tertiary level to sign up for this worthy cause. The school that plants the most fruit or ornamental trees will get $300,000. Visit the Forestry Department's website to submit your entries for a chance to win awesome cash prizes and awards. Don't forget to download the 876 Trees app and see the progress of each tree planted. Get those green thumbs working and let the planting begin. Entries close on February 28, 2023.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, February 15, 2023. A historic $1 trillion budget was tabled in Parliament yesterday, outlining the government's proposed spending for the 2023-2024 financial year. The breakdown shows the majority, $665.5 billion, going towards recurrent expenses. $75.3 billion is earmarked to fund capital projects, and $280.6 billion is budgeted for debt servicing. The 2023-2024 estimates of expenditure was tabled in the House of Representatives by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark. He says the allocation for capital expenditure focuses on priority areas to enhance development. Revenue is projected to outstrip expenditure, resulting in a fiscal surplus for the financial year.
Central government revenue and grant inflows are estimated at $897.6 billion, which alongside the above-the-line expenditure of $887.7 billion will generate the required fiscal balance surplus of $9.9 billion or 0.3% of GDP, consistent with fiscal rules. The corresponding primary balance required for debt service and to generate the targeted fiscal balance is approximately $165 billion or 5.6% of GDP.
Minister Clark says the overall public debt is estimated to end the current fiscal year on March 31 at 79.7% of GDP. This is expected to further decline to 74.2% over the next financial year ending March 31, 2024.
This is a projection. It depends on parameters and variables that are not totally in the control of any single person. But should it be achieved, Madam Speaker, that is the 74.2% at the end of this fiscal year, it would mark the first time since the nationalization of the financial sector crisis through FinSAC in the latter half of the 1990s that debt has entered the domain of pre-FinSAC levels.
A further breakdown of government's $1 trillion budget for the 2023-2024 fiscal year reveals major allocations to the Ministries of Finance, Health, National Security, Economic Growth, Education, and Agriculture. The Ministry of Finance's $430 billion allocation includes over $418 billion for salaries and day-to-day operations and $12.7 billion for capital projects. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is budgeted to spend $118.6 billion on recurrent expenses, while $6.4 billion will spread across several capital projects. These include continued work on the Western Children and Adolescent Hospital, Cornwall Regional and the University Hospital, in addition to programs such as the National HIV Response and the Prevention and Care Management of Non-Communicable Diseases. With a total budget of $118.6 billion, the Ministry of National Security will use close to $6 billion to continue the infrastructure development of police stations and the forensic pathology autopsy suite, as well as the procurement of a surveillance ship and technology equipment. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation will use $33 billion of its $49 billion budget to carry out roadwork developments, as well as electronic land titling and climate change and credit facilitation projects. $4 billion has been added to the budget of the Ministry of Education and Youth, while the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries is getting an additional $3.4 billion. Public sector entities that are not in agreement with the compensation review process have until March 31 this year to get full retroactive amounts in one payment. The decision was made clear by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark, who asserts that all payments due within the first of the three-year process will not be carried forward into Year 2, the 2023-2024 fiscal year. $338 billion has been allocated in the 2023-2024 recurrent budget for payments that are due in Year 2 of the compensation review.
This level of expenditure, Madam Speaker, is approximately $100 billion higher than the wages and salaries for fiscal year 2021-2022 after adjusting for allowances previously captured in programs. i.e., 21-22 is the year prior to the effective date of the restructuring, which began April 1st, 2022.
During a statement to Parliament yesterday, the Finance Minister issued an appeal to bargaining groups and delegates while indicating that the ministry's team would work feverishly and make themselves available to complete the process by the March 31 deadline.
Any of these amounts not paid this fiscal year will have to be paid over a number of years, beginning in the fiscal year that follows the upcoming one. Madam Speaker, even if the first time is a no, we are not deterred. That does not mean that we cannot get to a yes. There are only a few weeks left. We are available morning, noon, and night, weekday and weekend. Let's talk. Let's get it done.
In other news, government is giving priority attention to addressing gender-based violence, with the final of 3 national shelters being established for women who are victims of abuse and their children, set to be operational by the end of this year. Governor-General Sir Patrick Allen made the announcement while delivering the throne speech during yesterday's ceremonial opening of the 2023-2024 parliamentary year.
A third Government of Jamaica shelter will be renovated and retrofitted to become fully operational and provide a confidential and safe space for female victims and survivors of gender-based violence in the Western region by December 2023.
The first government-run shelter for victims of domestic abuse was opened in 2020. The second was opened in a remote location in December 2021 to focus on housing very high-risk victims. To amplify protection for domestic abuse victims, drafting instructions have been issued for further amendments to the Domestic Violence Amendment Act. This was based on inputs provided by the Ministry of National Security following parliamentary approval of amendments to the Firearms Act. Government will be undertaking a number of measures in the 2023-2024 legislative year to continue the modernization of law enforcement in Jamaica. These include the expansion of the Jamaica Eye network, the inclusion of additional sites to the radio and microwave networks operated by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and continued construction and renovation of police stations and other facilities. The policy direction was announced by the Governor-General yesterday.
In building a secure, cohesive, and just Jamaica, government remains relentless in executing the strategies paramount to safeguarding citizens' security. At the same time, the government will continue to partner with critical stakeholders on ongoing initiatives to intensify social investments in identified vulnerable communities.
To strengthen Jamaica's coastal protection infrastructure, additional marine vessels will be acquired during the year. At the same time, key legislative reforms will be pursued to improve public order and safety and support a reduction in crime and violence. Priority will be placed on amendments to the Fingerprints Act, the Immigration Restriction, Commonwealth Citizens Act, and Aliens Act, as well as review of the Corrections Act. The Proceeds of Crime Act will also be amended to include unexplained wealth. And finally, states of public emergency, SOEs, have been declared for 3 additional parishes: Clarendon, St. Anne, and the Kingston Western Police Division. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement in a press release this morning. He says the new SOEs have become necessary following a surge in criminal activities in these areas. They took effect at 12 a.m. on February 15 and will be operational for an initial period of 14 days. Since the start of the year, the Kingston Western Police Division has recorded the highest number of murders and shooting incidents across all police divisions. The Clarendon Police Division, meanwhile, has the 3rd highest number of murders across all police divisions, with a total of 15 murders and 4 shooting incidents between January 1 and February 12, 2023. The St. Anne Police Division began the year with 50% fewer murders in January 2023 than in January 2022, but that was reversed with an overall 22% increase in murders as of February 11. Also, 3 murders were recorded in January 2023 and 6 within the first 2 weeks of February, a 100% increase in gun murders in half the time. Prime Minister Holness says organized gangs are the main source and cause of the violence that is leading to fear and terror in some communities. In response, he says the government's main priority is to use all lawful and constitutional measures to protect the lives of innocent citizens. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Yes, walk right over there and drop it in the bin. Reuse that wastewater from your kitchen for the garden. Get your hands dirty and plant a tree. Farmers, hold off on the pesticides, especially near our rivers. Do your part to protect our watersheds so we can preserve the source of our drinking water. Every act to protect our watersheds counts. Start now.
It's the season of love, and what better way to put this love into action than by serving others? In this next feature, we explore one story of service above self.
Always behind the camera, organizing functions and events in her community of Longville Park, Clarendon, aptly supported by a robust team. It's the joy of doing what the heart calls for.
I think my love of volunteerism is innate. My mother was a volunteer, and while I was in her womb, she was volunteering in the National Youth Service in the 1970s. So I grew up in a family of volunteers. My mother, my grandmother, be it Sunday school, be it the community of Sanguinity. I'm from that type of background. And then when I came to Longville Park, I discovered an Active Citizens Association, which was so dynamic.
Ava Tomlinson's love of giving back to others has impact far beyond the many turns and slopes of her community. Her instrumental role in helping to get residents of Longville Park vaccinated against COVID-19, for example, supports the National Infection Prevention and Control agenda. This culture of giving back has been stealthily crafted since her youth.
It's a part of me. I studied in Canada, and their culture is built on volunteerism, and having been exposed to that type of culture of giving back, it means that you're able to make a contribution. It may not be a direct area that you work in professionally, but you have skill sets that you can use and other persons can benefit. The youths, the elderly, neighbors, friends can benefit from giving back and receiving.
In 2022, Ms. Tomlinson received the Badge of Honor for a long and faithful service at the National Honors and Awards Ceremony, adding to her collection of awards for a stellar contribution to community development. She says it is a humbling achievement.
It's a recognition, not just for myself, but other community volunteers, and also for my ancestors, my mother, my grandmother, who were volunteers in their own rights, that I can be such a recipient.
It unearths the golden thread of society, one that depends upon the harmony of unity and empowerment. It opens the channels of life to impacting the world for better. It is an area in which we need to see more persons involved. Ava's big heart drives her to advocate for more persons to get involved in volunteerism.
Persons can contribute more to being active in their neighborhood watch. Sports day events, youth, the elderly. There are so many areas within this community, and especially since we are transitioning. The original owners are getting older, getting into the retirement age, so there's always space for community volunteerism where persons can give back and make persons' life better.
We continue to weave the thread of love as we move into best practices for protecting the heart. February is celebrated as Heart Month to raise awareness of the importance of cardiovascular health. Let's learn how young people in particular can adopt a healthy lifestyle.
Move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
Just like how you want to invest, right? In the future, you save your money because you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, whatever it is that you want to do, you invest your money. That's the same way you have to invest in your health now, so that later on, you'll be able to see the rewards.
So what makes up an investment in a healthy future? A balanced diet, regular exercise, and staying away from harmful drugs are some elements. A balanced diet helps prevent conditions such as obesity and reduces the risk of heart disease and other illnesses.
A lot of emphasis on fruits and veggies. You guys know your fresh fruits, your apples, oranges, bananas, your vegetables, string beans, carrots, callaloo. You want to have a variety. I always think of colors. Colors are a good guide if you know nothing about nutrition. Whole grain and high fiber. The whole wheat bread is good, your whole wheat pasta, but I really want us to make our diet predominantly our ground food, breadfruit, yams, sweet potato, green banana, plantain. Also our oily fish, such as sardines or salmon or tuna or mackerel. Those are fantastic for our omega-3. Lean meats, that's our chicken, fish, pork. Our dairy, soy milk, regular cow's milk, either which one you want to get your calcium, especially for the growing bones. Also, we want to reduce our sugars. That's mostly seen in our fruit juices or sodas.
Once you've established what a balanced diet looks like, it's important to use the right portions.
Half your bowl of vegetables. Look at the callaloo there, and a quarter of your protein, that's your 2 eggs, and another quarter of your starch, that's your green banana. Or you can go down the bottom, and nothing is wrong with having a little bit of healthy fat. Healthy fat is your avocado pear. Very, very, very good for you. Will help clear your arteries.
You should be exercising 3 to 4 times per week just to maintain. If you want to improve your fitness level, you want to be an athlete, you need to be exercising at least 4 to 5 times per week consistently. All right, in order to maintain your health.
A regular 30-minute exercise regime does not necessarily mean going to the gym. With just a chair, you can do a lot. Warm-up exercises, upper and lower body strengthening, abdominals.
Imagine you're hearing the words of boy, you're workless, you're a fool, you come like you're workless, pooper, all of these different things. How you gonna feel about yourself? You're gonna feel bad. So what most persons do know is use drugs to feel better about themselves. But the sad truth about this is that the drug don't solve the problem.
Smoking of cigarettes, one commonly used drug, is a contributor to several disorders and cancers.
92% of all oral cancer is caused from smoking tobacco. 82% of all lung cancer is caused from smoking tobacco. Yes, 80 plus chemicals inside of it contribute to gum disease. That's why the teeth change color or they drop out.
Hookah, also known as water pipe tobacco, is no less dangerous. An hour-long smoking session is equal to inhaling smoke from 100 to 200 cigarettes. When it comes to smoking marijuana or ganja, its effect on a teenager is different from an adult smoker. In addition to smoke causing damage to the lungs, it impacts the brain.
Your brain is not yet fully developed. Where the box is, that part of the brain controls the executive function of the body. We're in risk, consequent, thinking, all of this. How much you know have a friend right now and they must smoke weed? And like they can't reason properly. It's like your friend a change. How much person know somebody know while smoke weed and it's like they get ignorant easy.
Research shows that frequent smoking of ganja from the teenage years into adulthood leads to a significant decline in IQ levels. The dangers of smoking ganja are heightened when unknowingly combined with other ingredients.
Most of you get your weed from your friend them, right? You don't know where your friend them or the shop or anybody or the dealer give you. Because if somebody want to mash up your life, all them have to do is put a lizard tail in it and it done. Or they mix it with cocaine and it done. So you don't know where you are smoke. So that's why I said every time you smoke is like a gamble or a risk.
Then there is grabba, a deadly mix of ganja with tobacco and sometimes with other ingredients.
When it comes to the red herring grabber and the red rose, that's what they call a hot grabber because those are the one with chemicals. How they make the red herring grabber is simple this way. Grabber is tobacco leaf. So what they do is mix the tobacco leaf with the red herring fish. Then wrap it up or they dip the tobacco in the water and let it dry. So when you're smoking that now, you're smoking chemicals from fish, tobacco and ganja.
So, maintain a healthy diet, exercise regularly, and stay away from drugs. These should help you reap healthy rewards later in life. If you need help in maintaining a healthy lifestyle, contact the National Council on Drug Abuse at 926-9002-4 or the Jamaica Cancer Society at 927-4265.
Move it, I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
Jamaica's idyllic lush paradise is a favorite for lovers tying the knot. Did you know that you can find this information very quickly on the Government of Jamaica portal? Watch this next feature to learn more.
Searching online. It's what most of us do every day. Information is the world's new currency, and the provision of quality information is what is setting businesses, governments, and even countries apart. And when we search, we're looking for information that is accurate, easy to understand, and relevant. And we expect to get there in 3 clicks. The Jamaican public sector is delivering numerous services every day to clients locally and abroad. Clients who cannot afford to waste neither time nor money searching through hard-to-find information. Introducing Gov.jm, the gateway that will become the single online space for accessing information on government services in a way that is simple and seamless. Through the Public Sector Transformation and Modernization Program, PSTM, Gov.jm is placing the needs of our clients at the center. By placing vast government information in one place, we are making it easier, faster, and simpler for our clients and potential clients to get the information they need when they need it, and how they need it. For the potential investor or visitor to Jamaica, the ability to find information easily can make the difference between a decision to invest in Jamaica or somewhere else. To start, we found those everyday services in highest demand, the ones Jamaicans locally and in the diaspora frequently need. We took the services non-residents and investors frequently need, and we've started by creating a gateway to those services online. Govjm will allow those seeking to do business with government to find what they need faster. Whether you want to know how to apply for a passport, pay taxes online, register a business, or find out your health benefits under the Health Fund program. Information is grouped so that the user knows where to go right away, whether he's a resident, non-resident, or an investor. And this is the kind of information, the kind of service that will gain Jamaica international rankings for e-government. We're still at the early stages. The gateway currently now indexes some of the services available online and provides clear navigation to them. But Gov.jm will never stop evolving. It is the customer feedback about information they need that will guide the evolution of Gov.jm. Over time, we'll work to bring more and more services online and create a standard online schema for all government websites. Gov.jm, the new gateway to government information and services. The search is over.
I welcome you to this first ever Global Tourism Resilience Conference. Jamaica is pleased to host this historic event which brings together tourism practitioners from across the globe, and particularly to emphasize the areas of human capital development, the strategies for creating a new labor market arrangements in tourism, to look at investment prospects, not just for Caribbean partners, but also for African partners who will be here, to look at the broader issues of convergence between the African countries that are now emerging into tourism and the Caribbean, who are mature players in the industry and who have much to offer. I look forward to the exchanges in those key segments of the conference that will focus on these two sectors of the tourism global community. The establishment of the first ever Global Tourism Resilience Day and its observations here in Jamaica is another historic event and activity that we are excited about. Having had the United Nations formally endorse the resolution, and a resolution that was endorsed by some 94 countries, which is historic in its own way. It brings us to the point where, yes, from the center here in Jamaica, we can radiate to the rest of the world the critical importance of building capacity to recognize disruptions, to track them, to mitigate against, to manage disruptions when they come, to recover and recover quickly.
Be sure to join us again tomorrow for another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. Catch the latest updates and find more content like this on our website, jis.gov.jm. You can also send us your feedback on today's show or any of our programs via email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.